Hello and welcome to On the Bench Extra, your weekly fix of local football. Today we'll be discussing some of the latest games, looking ahead at upcoming games and also discussing the FA Cup, and we'll be having a chat about another manager that's under pressure. Joining me on the show today, alongside our regular, my co-presenter Tom Reid, is Rob Underwood from BBC Radio Lincolnshire and of course On the Bench. Hello guys.
Hello. Hello.
You can get in touch with us on social media too, so please do, we'd like to hear your views. So Rob, welcome to the show. First of all, could you just talk about your role with BBC Radio Lincolnshire?
Yeah, certainly. I'm involved in park commentary on Lincoln City, home and away in the conference. Radio Lincolnshire's commitment to the fans, of course, as you'd expect from BBC Local Radio, is to keep them abreast of every goal, every kick throughout the season. And basically that's what I'm involved in.
And how enjoyable is it? How much different is it to obviously being on the TV screen as well?
Very different. You have got people in your ear all the while, of course, but you're there, you're right in the thick of it. And as with all of us, it's just as a real buzz. If you're into sport, then being there, describing and painting the pictures really is a thrill.
Yeah, and you've got to have that descriptive sense as well, I guess, as well.
Well, yeah, that's it. You think of cricket and Test match special, when there isn't anything particularly going on the pitch, then you are there and you're duty bound to paint the picture, to describe exactly what's happening to listeners and fans at home. Yeah,
upcoming games. You're doing the Lincoln game this week, I believe.
Yeah, FA Trophy this weekend. The Imps getting to know Alfreton very well, of course. They drew them in the FA Cup some time ago, involved in a replay. 2 games in the league. Conceivably, they could play Alfreton 6 times this season. So
wow,
we'll
that's quite scary. How do you think they're going to fare this weekend against Alfreton in the FA Trophy?
Interesting, really. Who's to say? I think it's an interesting time at Lincoln. Chris Moyes has just been officially appointed as first-team manager after his sort of honeymoon interim period, if you like. So I think the fans are quite optimistic and up for it. 3 wins on the bounce at home in the league has got to give them, good spirit.
Reid, what do you think is Lincoln chances this weekend?
I think they've got a chance as any. It's a cup match. It's different to league. You've got to win over the 90 minutes. You're not playing for the points. So teams might approach that differently. It's the magic of the cup. Any team can win that, I think, on like a single game.
Do you think there'll be, in terms we've talked in previous weeks about Grimsby swapping the team, changing things, do you think Lincoln will do the same, Tom?
Well, I think they might, considering as well, obviously now Chris Moyes has been appointed part of the new management team. So again, he'll put his own ideas to the team. So again, that'll be time to experiment for him regardless.
I think when you're on a run as well, players don't see it as an interruption. It might be a bit of a distraction if you're not having a good time in the league. But I think players just want to play.
They just want to keep playing and keep winning.
And you've seen quite a bit of Lincoln this season, Rob. What have they been like this season in comparison to previous years?
I think they've not really lived up to expectations. He has got a very good squad there, Chris Moyes is at the moment. I think everybody acknowledges that, but they haven't delivered. They weren't really delivering under Gary Simpson. They were just doing enough. But now the players seem to be happier, playing with a freer sort of spirit, if you like, and that's showing in the results.
And the start of the season, I remember them starting reasonably promisingly. It was quite good at the start of the season, and then things tailed off. Obviously, they had the change in manager. So do you think that's caused a difference in the players' approach?
I think so, yeah. And last season as well, they got off to a cracking start, but then just fell away. But as I say, now I think the players are believing what they can do within the squad. There's great camaraderie, and that's showing, as I say, in the results, home and away.
Realistically, where can you see them coming in terms of the league?
I asked them that question this week, actually, after the win against Nuneaton in midweek, and I think the sky's the limit was a term that was used, and I think really with a run of decent winnable fixtures up to Christmas and just into the new year, I think really Lincoln could go places in the new year. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you, Rob. So looking back at the latest set of results from last weekend, despite Alan McGregor's first half penalty save, Hull City dropped into the bottom 3 and 1 point from safety after a 0-0 draw with West Brom. Scunthorpe United face a potentially tricky FA Cup replay against Worcester City after a 1-1 draw at Glanford Park. The incentive for the winners is Chesterfield, assuming they don't get thrown out, at home in the next round. Grimsby had a rest from league action due to the FA Cup commitments of Eastleigh. Grimsby, however, beat Boston United 4-0 in a friendly on Tuesday night. And last but not least, North Ferriby lost 1-0 away to Hyde as they missed a series of good opportunities, only to concede a sloppy 13th minute strike. Next up for the Villagers is Boston United in the FA Trophy. So, first of all, Rob, the Hull City result last weekend, a bore draw, not a fantastic game apparently, so I've been told by a few people. How does it fare for their season so far?
Well, psychologically, I think going into the bottom 3 is obviously not good news for the club or the fans, and once you see yourself down there, I think the confidence factor is all important. Can the players lift themselves? Can Steve Bruce make them believe in themselves to really get out of there? It's still very close down there, don't forget. A win or 2 wins at this point of the season can take you up 2 or 3 places. But at the moment, confidence must be pretty low, I think.
Definitely. That's the issue though, Reid, isn't it? We've said before, there's talent. There is a lot of of good players in that side. Why are they not performing?
I don't know. I mean, we said a few weeks back it's the best squad they've ever had, and we did say that these run of fixtures could see them go into the bottom three. And I think Steve Bruce probably didn't expect to be there, if I'm honest. He probably thought, we'll be okay this season. So seeing himself there, as you said, he's scratching his head, why are we here? So it's a confident thing, I suppose. And when the fixtures are kinder, you might see him crawl out of that.
And Scunthorpe as well, Rob, they drew 1-1 with... they drew with Worcester City, didn't they? So a disappointing result on their part. How will they be feeling now, having to go to the replay away to Worcester City's ground?
Well, I mean, I think they'll go with confidence. I mean, Mark Robins has turned them around in the league. I mean, it wasn't looking too good when he went there, but certainly had a decent run of form. The Cup's always, at this stage of the competition, really for the minnows, isn't it, really? They're going to play like giant killers every game. They're going to try and see Scunthorpe as cannon fodder, really. But I think we've just got to be professional, go there and do the job. Tricky
tie though, Tom, nevertheless.
Yeah, obviously Worcester knocked out Coventry. Scunthorpe beat Coventry, did they? In the FA, was the cup they beat them in earlier in the season. They had a good result against them, so they won't take it lightly. But again, do they want that right now? With they're in relegation still. They want to get out of it. They want league fixtures maybe. It's just another game for the players to go and win, I suppose.
And they'll be hoping they can win it. Last of all, North Ferriby losing to Hyde. I remember Hyde when they were in the conference last year couldn't get a win for love nor money. So bad result for North Ferriby.
Can't believe Hyde are where they are now. They got so used to looking up at everybody in the conference now. Conference North in the same position. Yeah, North Ferriby 10th now, mid-table. Who'd have thought that? They were really knocking on the door last season. And of course, did well in the FA Trophy last season. Beat a couple of conference sides, including Lincoln City. Thumped them 4-0. And I think that's probably their undoing at the end of the day. Really, there was too much to concentrate on. So they need to really get their act together. And again, they've got a trophy game coming up against Boston United.
They have a big game, Reid.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I mean, I would have thought Hyde would have won that. Obviously, North Ferriby they were almost promoted last season, so you think the remit would be the same this season. So you don't want to lose to the bottom of the table.
Exactly, yeah. Thank you, guys. So we've already discussed a little bit about it already. The FA Cup third round draw was made. Hull were obviously drawn against Arsenal, and Scunthorpe, if they get past Worcester City, will possibly face Chesterfield. We're yet to see whether they'll be eliminated from the competition for fielding an eligible player. We've discussed a little bit about it already, but Hull's draw, Rob, specifically against Arsenal, a repeat of last year's FA Cup final as well.
Crazy, isn't it, really? I think in the rehearsal it came out with Arsenal as well for Steve Bruce. It depends what sort of side Arsenal decide to put out, which Arsenal side is going to turn up. They've done well in the Champions League this week, had a lot of criticism after the defeat at the weekend. Who knows? I think it's going to be one for Hull to go into with confidence and hopefully give them a bit of a morale booster for what they see as their sort of kick-starting their season in the league.
Definitely. We've seen in previous years Arsene Wenger can sometimes field weakened sides in the Cups, but lately, in the previous couple of years, maybe because of the pressure, he's fielded quite strong teams in the Cup, Reid. How will that bode for Hull?
Well, he's not achieved much in the league, obviously, as late, so maybe he's taking these Cup competitions more seriously. Obviously, he lost at Stoke as well last week, so good Champions League win in midweek, but yeah, I think he'll want to beat Hull because he knows what the damage they did in the first 20 minutes at Wembley, so he won't take them lightly, which is probably bad news for Hull.
Exactly, and Arsenal's defences can be a bit shaky at times.
Yeah.
Just quickly touch on Scunthorpe. Chesterfield, probably not the nicest draw, providing that they do play them and beat Worcester City.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It depends. Does Mark Robins see the Cup as something that they really want to be going for this season, or does he want to concentrate, as Tom was saying, on getting away from the lower reaches of League One at the moment? Remains to be seen.
Tom, how will they fare? They've got to get past Worcester, as we said.
Yeah, again, it's added fixtures to an already congestion-filled time of the season. So Robins has got to play the fixture. He can't get away from it. So yeah, he'll put out his best 11, I'm sure.
What will be the score, providing they do get through and play Chesterfield, do you think?
I think this team's growing in confidence all the time. He's turned it around such a short space of time. So I think they could beat Chesterfield.
We'll beat them.
Yeah.
Remains to be seen. Thank you very much. So next up, we've got another challenge. Greg's been at it again. Let's see how me and Tom got on this week.
In 30 seconds, can you name the Grimsby Town team from the 2013 FA Trophy final? McEwen. Was it Connell? John Lewis? Pearson? Doig?
Thanks again for that one, Greg. So on the show, we like to test our guest's memory as well. So we're going to put Rob on the spot here. He doesn't know what's coming, so this could be fantastic. Rob,
seconds.
Or something.
you've got 30 seconds to name the starting 11 from Grimsby Town's FA Trophy 2013 losing finalist side.
How
30
long?
seconds. Go.
McEwen,
Yes.
Sean Pearson,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Hatton, Ross Hannah,
Yes.
Craig Disley,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Sean Pearson, I've said him. Artis.
Yes. Fantastic. That's 9, Rob. That's 9. Very well
really
done.
good.
Really good
I missed
attempt
the
there.
easy ones.
No, they were the hard ones you missed, I think.
Which
Marcus
ones did you
Marshall was a very good call. So thank you very much for that, Rob. Not a bad attempt at all. Rob, you got 9 overall. Before we go to the break, here's this week's halftime teaser. Which former Hull City manager and player scored both of the first goals under Sven-Goran Eriksson and Glenn Hoddle for England? Welcome back to Extra. If you said Nick Barmby for the halftime teaser, you'd have been right, so well done. Coming up on the show, we've got more chat with Rob and we'll be looking at some of the upcoming fixtures this weekend. But first of all, here's the second part of this week's challenge.
In 30 seconds, can you name the Grimsby Town team from the 2013 FA Trophy final?
McEwen, Pearson, Disley, Rodman, John Lewis, Connell, Hannah, what have we got? Oh, I missed out. Can't think. Another win for Hardy.
Well, yeah, all right, yeah.
Another win. Rob's beat us both though. So.
Yeah, well done, Rob. I think you win that one, really.
Beginner's luck.
Right, moving on now to sack or stick. This week we're going to be looking at Paul Lambert. He's always in the headlines. He's always under a lot of pressure. Rob, what do you think to the job Paul Lambert's doing this season?
Well, it's difficult to evaluate it really because, of course, he's had Roy Keane with him over recent weeks, past few weeks. Now he's not got him there. But I must admit, I hate to say it, against Leicester last week, they pulled off a great win. They looked lively. They looked more as though they were really hungry for a result. So you've got to say, give him time. Let's see how it goes over Christmas.
The Keane departure, Tom, what's gone on there?
I ain't got a clue, mate. You'll have to ring Paul and ask him. I
thought you had Keano's number in your
I
phone.
don't know what's going on with that. Has he got another role with the Republic of Ireland as well?
He has, yeah,
So
assistant manager there.
maybe it's something to do with that. But I must say, Christian Benteke looked lively in the few moments we saw of him. He's just come back, obviously, but he'll make a difference when now he's back.
Do you think Benteke will score the goals to keep Lambert in the job?
Who's to say? He's a quality player, isn't he? We've seen what he can do. I mean, if he can stay on side, which he couldn't.
That might be why he's not been under so much pressure yet. They'll be like, when Benteke's back, we'll judge you then, when you've got a striker.
Benteke's been linked with a move to Liverpool, other Premier League clubs as well. I think Arsenal have been linked with him. How big a loss would that be if he did leave, Rob?
Oh, massive. I mean, when he was out injured for so long, I mean, Villa did suffer, the results suffered. But you just wonder whether Liverpool are going for all the sweets in the sweet shop, you know, Balotelli. I mean, it's a big loss, obviously, with Suarez and Sturridge. But is that the answer, to go for a name like Benteke? I'm not so sure.
Do you think, Reid, would he be good enough, Benteke, for Liverpool? Would he do the job?
I think he would score goals for Liverpool, yeah. But again, they're not going to replace Suarez. They'll never replace Suarez. It's impossible.
No.
So Benteke's not the answer for a Suarez, but he'll score goals anywhere, I think.
Definitely. So Lambert, do we think he sack or stick with Lambert overall?
Well, he's not in immediate danger as far as his team are concerned. The jury's out as far as I'm concerned. I thought he did really well in the lower leagues with Wickham and then Norwich. I mean, he seemed to cut his teeth and prove that he was there and fit and proper to do a job in the Premier League. But there is such a gulf, isn't it? But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and Reedy, what do you think? I mean, Villa always seem to pull it out the bag when the pressure's on.
I think like Villa of late, they're not the 5th and 6th place Villa there was under O'Neill, so maybe they're looking at that. So yeah, they've not been any real danger lately. They've always managed to stay in the league, I think, quite comfortably. So
the problem is for the second city, you know, if you discount Birmingham, Villa should really be doing a lot better. I mean, for so long, they use the term sleeping giant. They just haven't delivered, have they?
No. And you see the winning European Cups 20, 30 years ago, and now the club is embroiled in relegation battles every season. So it's tricky,
other teams have gone the opposite way as well. So these so-called smaller clubs have got money pumped into them, like Fleetwood and Brentford. Look how they're doing now. It's down, mate.
So sack or stick, Reedy?
Stick, sorry.
Stick, okay. So Scunthorpe fans were invited to see the new plans for their stadium this week. We took our cameras down to see what was going on.
Delighted. Obviously, we're quite excited about it, as with any project, but it is difficult because we're in that sort of period now where there's a little bit of limbo, because we put our planning in, which is January 7th, and then April 29th, we're hoping that the determination says, yeah, you've done it, you've got your planning, and we can move on and start building, and it'll be about 14 months after that, so June 2016. Well, I think it's quite obvious, you know, certainly since we built this 25 years ago, that stadium design has moved on hugely. If you look at the Brighton Amex Stadium, which is out in the middle of nowhere, costs 40 million, has hotels, office space and residents. We need that. We need commercial partners, we need hotels, we need gymnasiums, we need all these businesses which bring in an income, takes the pressure off that match day income. So it means if the fans, you know, if we're not quite doing it on the field, then the fans' impact on not coming through the door isn't as great on the company, so we can survive and start hopefully building for the more successful times. If we look at it as a whole, we're trying to take the best bits out of everything, and hopefully we don't get anything wrong.
So really promising times for Scunthorpe. Reedy, we talked about it last week, the new stadium. How much of a benefit will it be?
Well, like the chairman said, Peter Swann, he said he just doesn't want to rely on ticket sales to boost finances. There's other things outside of that now, being a community stadium, so I think it's a step in the right direction.
And if the club are looking to push up the leagues as well, how much of an important factor will the stadium play?
Huge, huge. I won't put it past Scunthorpe being a championship club again in a few years, if things go right for them.
Rob, what are your views on the new stadium? Because we said earlier that Glanford Park's not actually that old a stadium.
Well, it isn't, is it? Call me old-fashioned. I'm a firm believer in getting it right on the pitch before you start sorting things out off it. But you know, a good stadium obviously is going to attract investment. It's going to attract fans. More of a family-type atmosphere. But I've always thought that about Glanford Park. I've always thought that it's had that ingredient. But as you mentioned, Tom, you know, not so long ago they were a championship side. You know, short memories really. And
could be back there.
Absolutely, they could be back, and that just could be the icing on the cake for them.
Good for the town as well, definitely. Let's have a look now at the upcoming fixtures this weekend. Hull City travel to Stamford Bridge to face Chelsea, a ground where they have yet to win a game. The Tigers last beat the Blues in 1988, before I was born. Scunthorpe United host Crewe Alexandra and will hope Paddy Madden continue his scoring form with 4 goals in his last 3 games. It's FA Trophy action for Grimsby, who travel to Nuneaton, with the Mariners hoping for victory against the side they drew 0-0 with at Blundell Park in August. And it's also FA Trophy action for North Ferriby, who come up against Boston United. The Villagers managed to reach the 4th round last season. Reedy, first of all, the unenviable task for Hull, travelling to Chelsea. Jose Mourinho still unbeaten as a Premier League manager at home. Will Hull change it? I highly doubt it.
No. Obviously, Hull have had a tough run of fixtures, as we said before. That's why they are where they are. It's no kinder this weekend. You'd expect Chelsea to win that game. I'm sorry to say. Obviously, they need to bounce back after that defeat against Newcastle. Mourinho will want to see a reaction in the league, so I expect them to beat Hull.
And just looking back, they've played 42 times. Chelsea have won 28. There's been 10 draws, and Hull City have won 4. What do you think of the chances of Hull, Rob?
Not great, are they? Let's be honest. But I thought Mourinho, when he was asked the question, can he go through the season unbeaten recently, he said, no, of course not. Did he mean yes? But whatever happened, I think the message got through to his team that they are human after all, as we saw against Sunderland. So, you know, who knows?
Disappointing result for them as well. So, look, moving on to Scunthorpe, they're at home to Crewe, Reedy. Crewe, another side that have been struggling this season. How much does Scunthorpe need to make that home form count?
They need to make Glanford Park a fortress, really, at the moment, which is, yeah, you get your home form right, and that'll keep you in the league. You get your away form right, and you'll rise up it. So I think for now, just win your home games.
Definitely, breed success. The previous meeting was at Glanford Park. Crewe 2, Scunthorpe 1. What do you think the score will be this time, Rob?
I think it'll be a draw, to be honest. I think Scunthorpe, I mean, they're doing well, but you look at the table, they're still down there, as you mentioned earlier, and psychologically, they need to be now pulling away from there. But they just don't seem to be able to really make those strides forward. So I'm going for a draw.
Going for a draw. Madden scoring the goals, the defenders not doing their job. Last of all, we'll go with Grimsby. They're away at Nuneaton in the FA Trophy, Tom. Chances of that game?
Yeah, I was at the 0-0 draw at Blundell Park at the start of the season. I think it was the first home game. And Grimsby, although it was a ball draw, had chances to win that. They should have won that, really, on chances. So, again, they can go away from home, I think, and perform well. I think it's a game they can win, even though it is a cup game.
How tough is the Christmas period, Rob, for teams like Grimsby who are involved in games in the FA Trophy and things like that? How hard can the festive period be?
It's always a defining period, isn't it, in the season? You know, you look at Christmas, the games come thick and fast. And you can look at the table before Christmas, look at it early in the new year, and it can really take on a different complexion.
And relating that to Lincoln, what are your expectations of them over the Christmas period and beyond then?
Well, just going on to Nuneaton, I watched them, I covered the game midweek, Lincoln, Nuneaton. Nuneaton were very poor, didn't manage to keep 11 players on the pitch. Street was sent off, and I think they are just about in the right position there, one off the bottom of the conference. But for Lincoln, looking at it, you know, the long trips in the conference particularly can have a bearing on results. They've had Eastleigh, they've had Gateshead, but looking at it, Alfreton, it's competing with EastEnders, Lincoln Alfreton at the moment. They seem to know themselves so well. They're playing the trophy this weekend, a couple of times in the league, Kidderminster away, and then the big Lincolnshire derby against Grimsby. So they're all reasonable distance as far as games concerned. So I think Lincoln City need to go into it with a lot of confidence and look at the new year really kicking on for a playoff place in their sights.
A big prediction for you. Do you think they'll make the playoffs?
Well, having seen them recently, 3 home wins on the bounce, admittedly against bottom 5 opposition, I think they could well do. I think they could be the team to watch.
Right, okay. Reid, what do you think to those
Well,
views?
as you say, the games that they need to win against teams below them, they're winning them. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be tough because there's teams that are already sort of, you know, taking the playoff places. But, again, why can't they creep into it?
Will Grimsby, we've talked about it in previous weeks, will Hurst favour the FA Trophy? He said that he's going to go out to win it. Is that going to be the case, Reid, or do you think that's a bit of a bravado, maybe?
I don't know. If he said that on radio, then I'm sure he's going to go and win it because, you know, it's that or the league, preferably the league. But he has to win something. I think it's been too many years now that he hasn't. But the club hasn't done anything really. You know, it's promotion or the FA Trophy.
Thank you. Well, time has beaten us for this week. Remember, you can see us each Saturday for all of the football discussion. Don't forget, you can also watch On the Bench. That's on Estuary at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays. You can catch Rob there. He's presenting that. You can also get in touch by social media and you can send us emails. Details are on the screen now. So it's thanks very much to Rob from BBC Radio Lincolnshire and, of course, Mr. Tom Reid. We'll see you next week.